The Cats of Ulthar by Hp Lovecraft. They say in the town of Ulthar, no man may kill a cat.
You may think that this is for the reason that running around murdering people's pets is always illegal, because that's fucking evil. But in actuality, basic human morality has very little to do with it. In fact, this law is actually kind of to protect evil people. Let me explain. This all started in a little town called Ulthar. You see, in this town, there was a wrinkly old couple who hated everyone and everything, but most especially cats. But even more than that, their neighbors' cats. They hated all the nighttime meowing and screeching. Rather than doing something like asking their neighbors if they could shut their felines up, they decided to set traps and savagely torture and murder every cat that crossed the threshold into their yard. As quoted in the text, they savored the screams of the poor kittens and were described as, quote, taking great pleasure in it. The only thing that united the couple in love was murdering cats. And I think we should put them genitals first in the garbage disposal. The couple, not the cats. Oh my god. The surrounding villagers who owned the cats weren't necessarily thrilled with their beloved pets getting, you know, mutilated to death. But they didn't really do anything about it either. As much as the villagers hated these monsters, they feared them even more. Evidently, the evil old couple in the house they lived in was so scary that no one dared question them as to where the cats were going, even though everyone heard the nightmares taking place in that house. With this part, I really don't get it. I mean, I know they look scary, but beating up old people is really not that hard. Trust me, I know. Allegedly. One day, a caravan of strange wanderers from the south entered the narrow cobbled streets of Ulthar. They were described as wanderers unlike any other of the roaming folk that usually entered the city. Dark wanderers. I don't know if Lovecraft described them as dark because, like, he meant they were evil, or he meant dark like in skin tone because he was a well-confirmed, self-documented racist. But they turn out to be the good guys, so I think it was the second one, but I'm still confused, so I'm just gonna give up on understanding this and move on with the story. The wanderers went to the marketplace and told fortunes for silver, because the townspeople were stupid and trusted that whatever they heard from the panhandling homeless men who just stumbled into town was good enough to pay a lot for it. No one knew of where the wanderers came from. I don't know if they asked. Maybe they should have asked. The wanderers would chant strange prayers, and they had painted the sides of their wagons with strange figures. The figures had human bodies and the heads of various animals: hawks, lions, rams, and notably, most often, cats. The leader of the caravan wore a headdress with two horns affixed to either side of a large, curious disc. In this caravan was also an orphan boy and his cherished, tiny, black cat. The boy's name was Menes, and the cat's name was Felony. The plague had taken his whole family, but fate had left him with his small furry friend. I can see the look of sadness on your face verifies you can see where this is going. On the third morning of the wanderer's stay in Ulthar, Menes could not find his kitten. He sobbed aloud in the market, where he was approached by villagers who told him of the old couple on the outskirts of town and what they knew to be going on in their decrepit home. Upon hearing this, Menes' tears ceased. He sat down silently, closed his eyes, and extended his arms towards the sun, and began to pray. Menes' voice became louder and angrier. He was speaking in a tongue that not a single villager could understand, but they all looked in fear towards the boy as he clenched his hands into fists and shut his eyes tighter. The villagers looked towards the sky and saw that the clouds were taking unusual shapes. Hybrid creatures, the body of men and the heads of various animals, all sporting horns on each side of oddly shaped discs on their forehead, like the leader. As soon as it began, it was over. The sky returned to normal. The boy sat on the cobblestone, tears again streaming down his face for what was his final friend in the world. Before sunset, the wanderers left Ulthar, never to be seen again. The villagers were disturbed to note that not a single cat was found in the town. One guy named Old Cranon, who was the mayor or some shit, swore that the wanderers took the cats as revenge for killing the boy's kitten, and cursed both the caravan and Menes. The town's notary, on the other hand, thought that the old couple, with their hatred of cats notorious and bolder by the day, were more likely the culprit. Oddly enough, the innkeeper's son swore that he had seen all of the town's cats surrounding the couple's yard. He said they paced slowly around the cottage. The villagers, thinking the couple had somehow charmed the cats to walk to their death like lambs to the slaughter, foresaw the worst and went into a sleepless night. Somehow, in the morning, every single cat had returned, all purring, content, and for some reason, bloated, and a bit chubbier than before. Stranger still, even after being missing for multiple meals, all cats refused any food from their owners. Not for one meal, not even for one day, but for several. It took around a week for the villagers to notice that the old couple had stopped turning on their lights at night. No one had seen the couple either. Eventually, the mayor mustered up his last working testicle, gathered the troops, and approached the door of their home. After a while of knocking and waiting, they broke down the door. There, in front of the door, were 2 human skeletons, the bones meticulously picked clean. As the light shone in onto the skeletons that laid onto the earthen floor, a number of beetles scuttled into the shadows from under the bones. These assholes getting eaten by cats was the talk of the town. No one could prove anything, but most thought it was the cats. I do. Some still blame the Wanderers, some didn't know who to blame. I think, blame is the wrong word. I think we should carry them around on our fucking shoulders. They're probably cats, so. And in the end, the mayor passed that remarkable law which is told of by traders in Halfeg, I don't know what the fuck that is, and discussed by travelers in Near. Namely, that in Ulthar, no man may kill a cat. The only fucking town that needed an incident for that to be a law. This was based on the Hp Lovecraft story titled The Cats of Ulthar. Yep, he has more than one thing relating to cats. I can't believe I didn't mention that the whole time. I wanted to, I'm probably going to in the title to get you fuckers to... If you like this story and want to hear the original without my shitty jokes interrupting it every couple seconds, go check out my spooky story channels for some, spooky stories. Anyways, if you like this video, you should like, comment, and subscribe with all notifications enabled, or I'll dress up as a cat and pretend to be dead by your hand in Ulthar. Shout out the inner circle. Love y'all.